Yeah, that was at least 2, 3 weeks ago.
I
Um,
remember we had contacted the Inquisition about what's his face having the guy with the huge bounty on his head, and we went back to the system, and the Inquisition showed up with a big ass fleet, chased his ass down, and
oh
probably
yeah,
did horrible, horrible things to him.
supposedly they gave us a bunch of money and now we're apparently going to another system because these ass swads want to go blow shit up.
Well, I mean, only some of us want to shit up. There's like one or two who want to find something valuable.
Me, hi, I want more.
Yeah, so we decided to head back to that one system we discovered and try to do some prospecting maybe since we had the excavation crews from that other job
Super,
that we didn't get to do.
sorry, super quick question. The XP sheet is in the chat, yeah? Or like, where do we find that?
It should be at the bottom of your character sheet, I think.
Ye- I will figure it out.
Are you asking where it's located on your character sheet, or are you asking about the handout that I've given all of you?
The handout so that I can figure out how much I'm supposed to have.
The handout is should be at the very top in the journal section for all of you.
Yep, found it. Sessions in XP. Thank.
All right, so it's a decent enough recap, so I'll give you all 50 for it, but
Woo.
it needs some embellishments. All right, so the short and sweet of it was, because you weren't here last time on, I do believe. So party rolled up to Kerr to start the digging around for the Eldar stuff, and there was two ships hanging out in orbit above the planet. One sword class frigate, and the other one was a transport. And when the your ship translated into the system, the sword class started burning towards it to your ship to investigate what the hell was going on. You later found out through talking to these individuals that that these two ships belong to the Kenoch dynasty, which you remember from, I think, the first season, quote unquote, of Rogue Trader, which is the butcher that Traffic had a slap fight with for like an hour.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And yes, someone in the party made a recalled from memory that, or pulled out the data slate with bounties and realized that this dude has a fairly hefty bounty on his head. So your character uh, reached out to some contacts and said, "Hey, found this dude who's apparently wanted in the system," and then you left. The party left and came back, or came back later again, a couple of maybe a week or so later, and the Inquisition was there with a couple of black ships as well, and yeah, they essentially witnessed the destruction of the transport ship as it was erased from existence with vortex torpedoes, and the sword class was disabled, and the party was politely told to get out before bad shit happened. And then after that, they decided to fly to this other unknown system that you found when you went to Pavalon trying to get to Pavalon, and ended up there by mistake. So I do believe that's pretty much where we're at. And they also got, I think, Graphic's character got a data spool with contact information how to get a hold of the Inquisitor again.
Okay, I see.
All right. Yeah, you after a fairly uncomfortable journey, though surprisingly fast one, you arrive in this system, and you arrive where you're supposed to be in the middle of an dense asteroid belt, but thankfully not close enough to anything that would cause catastrophic damage to the hull. Yeah, I think the journey takes maybe 3 weeks, 2 weeks. So during this time, is there anything you wish to do on the ship before you arrive in the system, or should we just jump to the initial thing in the system?
I'm okay jumping.
I think it's fine. I'll just be returning from my camping trip by the time we get there, probably.
All right.
Tuvka is probably trying to teach his servitors how to yell "wah" properly.
It's just like a text-to-speech wah.
Blaring at max volume, so it's like the tinny speaker sound like the kids on the public transport do when they're blaring their shit music. Yes. All right. So yeah, you all of you hear the klaxon ring out across the ship, signaling the beginning of the translation back to reality, to real space. And you feel, all of you feel how the ship starts jostling a bit, and then suddenly you feel a reality shift on around you, and you are suddenly back in real space once again. And as the rift closes behind the ship, and the window shutters start rolling up again, so you see the system for the first time with your own eyes rather than the ship sensors. I would like whoever is manning the helm bridge can roll me a, what is it, plus 25 scrutiny roll to scan the system.
Got a plus 10 from. Oh, plus 30.
35. Oh yeah, that is like you. Not only do you see literally everything with the Auspex scanners that you have, you also detect a whole heap of things that previously didn't exist in this universe.
Woo. I see all of it.
Yes, literally nothing is hidden from those scans.
Yes. Also, sorry, sidetrack. We are rank 3 now, right? Right. I'm.
What's the total XP you have right now?
I don't fucking.
I don't think it is a total XP, but yeah, you have. If you're at 10,000, you're at rank 3. Rank 2 is between 7,000 to 9,999.
Yeah, we should be at 10,550.
And you all are rank.
Sorry, I'll shut up now.
It's all right. Right. So you realize, so as the scan result comes in, there is a couple of things the scans tell you. So first of all, you have translated into the system at the very edge where you're supposed to be translating into. Ship is, currently in the right position, flying straight forward instead of upside down and sideways like it usually happens to translate back into reality. There is 3 planets in the system. One is too close to the sun, and one is too far away from the sun to be livable. But the second one, that's orbiting the star, is in the sweet spot. So there is definitely something. The livable planet has 2 moons orbiting it, and the star is a bright yellow sun, which casts a comfortable light, flooding the viewport of the bridge. And as you look out onto the system with the dense asteroid belt surrounding you, see Helmsman Swoll standing shirtless once again, flexing his super ripped body, listening in the light of the star. So with that incredible roll, I'll give you this as well. The asteroid belts that you're currently positioned in has a fairly dense amount of adamantine, which is a fairly valuable metal for the Imperium. So that would be of use for the Mechanicus, for example, if they wanted to set up some mining operations there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm guessing I'm going to tell everyone else that I have this amazing knowledge from somewhere, question?
So as the ship translates into reality again, like on the bridge, there is several different consoles. Beatrice probably stands by the Auspex console or Augur console, and does the scan of the system. And you also know that there is a very faint Vox network on the second planet in the system. So there is definitely humanoid population there with access to Imperial tech. So that's what you know.
I know.
All right. So that's what I have in my notes that you know. So what's the plan now then? You have entered the system without crashing into anything. You are in a comfortable spot that you aren't immediately in danger of anything crashing into you in the asteroid belt. You have a successful scan of the entire system and you picked up a couple of details. What's the plan now?
Yeah, you guys sort of have a little bit more momentum in this than I do. I'm just an astropath, so I'll support whatever the Rogue Trader, for example, wants to do, I suppose.
Tooth Cutter suggests that the rogue trader claimed the shiny bits in the rocks for his clan.
Shiny rock.
Yeah, I want to do that. I'm trying to decide if we should drop off the archaeology guys first and then come back and start going for that, or start going for the shiny rocks first. How far from the asteroid belt is the planet?
It's about a 7-day journey from the rim of the system to the planet with your ship. You can probably shave a day or two with a what is it, stellar navigation to plot an optimal course to the planet. Because your ship is uncomfortably fast.
What would we need to do to mine the asteroids? Can we drop people off to start doing that and then go to the planet, or would we need the main ship there for that?
You would need specialized ship equipment to start a full-scale mining operation. Otherwise, you would essentially send out people in vac suits to take a hammer and just hammer and chisel and start breaking off pieces of the rock, and then going back, tossing them back in the airlock for the hangar bay. Like, it's gonna be an extremely tedious thing if you don't have the specialized equipment.
So you're saying I can get a breaching auger?
This whole Space Hulk idea I had was pretty good, I think.
I vote no.
If I can
I
find
don't
a
know what it
breaching
is, but I
auger, I
vote
am down.
It's like we start off the mining operation, and so we go to the store to buy materials, and then we see the breaching auger, and we're like, oh, well, screw the mining. This is the real treasure.
Marja, you know that there are specialized mining ships that can just drive up to an asteroid and then fully automate the whole mining process. Your ship is not that, and your ship is too small and fragile to have those kinds of attachments. I want to say like components for doing that kind of stuff. And if you were to send out the excavation crew to do it by hand, you would literally be here for a couple of years before they, get enough volume to make it worthwhile.
Would he be able to notify his house about the location and let them take care of it? I forgot exactly how big his house is, how well off it.
It's certainly a possibility, but it would be a fair grip for them to set something up, and especially when all of you are already here. I suppose it would, like, honestly, the fastest thing would probably be maybe grab a sample of it, so you can have it tested for the purity of it, and then either go back to Footfall or Port Wonder, and then talk with the local Mechanicus representative about, having them send out the mining ship and a factory ship, and then from there, and just negotiate a cut of the process or profits.
My family are kind of dicks. Probably best to deal with the Mechanicus than them.
Oh yeah, and with that 7.8 success, you also realize, and maybe this is information that comes in a bit later as the scan and the results of the scan comes back, because it's a fairly large system. There is a small Mechanicus outpost on one of the moons. You pick up some some automated signals, like well, maybe one of their navigational beacons you get a return from, so that you have at least some Mechanicus presence on one of the moons orbiting the planet.
I guess I'll relay the information, all Hey Malord Trader style, and ask him what he wants to do about it.
Guess the best thing to do would be grab a sample, stop by the moon, drop it off, talk to them about it, then hit the planet and see what we can.
I probably wouldn't take the sample to the outpost that's here. I would go back to Footfall and talk to the representative there. That way they don't know where we came from. We're just, hey, here's a sample of this. How pure is it? And if it's any good, let's hammer out a contract, for mining rights, yada, yada, yada. Because if we take it to the outpost here, they're like, hey, we found this in the system. And they'll be like, this is worthless. And then as soon as we leave, they mine it out from under us.
I mean, we don't have to tell them we got it from the system. Or it might seem a little too convenient that we just show up and like, hey, look what we found. But if they have an outpost, there's a good chance they already know about it.
Well, if they already knew about it, they'd probably it's valuable shit. It's what they make spaceship hulls out of.
Among other things.
So we can contact them using Vox, or are they so far away that we would need Astropath work to be done?
If you want to contact them right away, it would be Astropath, or you can fly a bit closer and they would be in box range in a few days. So yeah, do you want to send out a small shuttle with the excavation team and have them collect a sample, while you consider your other options?
Yeah, we'll get a sample.
All right. Yeah, Helmsman's wool flexes you a salute and prepare to disembark the ship with the excavation crew. Still shirtless.
Of course.
Excellent. It doesn't crash into an asteroid. Right. So yeah, it will take maybe distances in space is always a bit tricky. It will take maybe a couple of hours for the team to go to the nearest asteroid that showed promising scan results and just hack off a couple of pieces before they come back again with the great worth. And yeah, as few hours go by, I think, and you get a voxel from Billy. You get a voxel from Huntsman's Wall reporting that they have collected the samples and are returning to the ship now. All right. So as they return, where do you want to store the samples for later examination?
I guess we're just gonna shove them into the cargo bay and until we need to take them to be examined, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can
might as well.
All right. Yeah. So the ore crate is mag locked to the floor, so it doesn't fly away. And yeah, after that, Vance will report back to the bridge wearing his flight uniform. All right. So if you want to go visit the planet, if you want to speed up the journey, get there, whoever has it can roll a pilot Stella or sorry, navigation Stella.
I guess that would be casual, probably.
I think there are several people there.
Actually, that's one skill I don't have.
Good job. Best job. A plus.
I just know how to fly the ship.
Well, for good measure, I had a plus 10 for.
Don't you have that skill, Trav?
I
Can
have,
he pep talk himself, though?
I have pilot spacecraft and pilot flyers.
No, this is navigate Stellar. Navigation Stellar.
See, navigation is one of those annoying skills that you don't get until you're like rank 3, unfortunately.
I don't see navigation listed in. At least not up to rank.
If I remember correctly,
It's rank 5.
yeah, our crew basically have a 20 in most skills. I don't know if that applies to navigate for sure, but I seem to recall that was my way around this problem, because when I was running Rogue Trader, none of my players had navigate.
Yeah, base skill is 30 across the board with one check mark in all skills. Well, somehow they managed to succeed in the navigation. So, what did I say? Shave. Yeah, that's so 30, 40. Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, you managed to shave a good 2 days off. So 5 days. It will take roughly 4.5 to 5 days from the rim of the system where you are at right now to fly to the planet. unless you get sidetracked by something or shot at. Alright, as you're approaching the planet, you wanna try to contact the mechanical space again, or what's the plan here as you're approaching it?
Kind of want to, because what if they already know and they set up this outpost? Because they're gonna be coming to mine, but at the same time, they're not. I don't want to tip them off about it early. Like, why else would they just have an outpost out here?
That is an excellent question to ask a tech priest. But yeah, as maybe a day or so away from the planet, and you're starting to get better scan results because of the proximity to the planet itself. And with the scan, because the scrutiny roll was so good from the previous scrutiny roll was so good, you don't have to roll again. So there is very limited and sporadic Vox traffic on the planet that you pick up. And from what you can tell, the planet is called Griswold's Triumph. And the scans, the results of the scan would tell you, after confirming with registry, Google.
You roboted a little bit there for me. Hey, can you guys hear me? I'm all by myself. Can you hear me?
Alright. Hopefully this works better now.
Yeah, I can hear you better now.
You swapped the Discord server or something?
No, I just waited for a hot second.
Okay. Yeah, I think I can't remember what country it is, but there was a podcast I was listening to where they were saying that swapping to something like Thailand or something always fixed it, and I thought that was funny.
Yeah, but everything you said about the planet broke up.
Yeah, so what you know of the planet is it's a temperate feudal world named Griswold's Triumph. Is it better now or is it still glitchy as all hell?
No, it's a lot better. Fine now. Like I got to the point where like I was hearing every like 2 words, and so oh, I'll just leave. And then trying to get back in, it would not let me reconnect, so I just completely closed Discord and reopened it.
Yeah, usually works. Windows after all, turn it off and on again.
Yeah. You try turning it off and on.
But yeah, the designation is a few of that of a feudal world, and it's temperate climate, by what you can tell. And the moon itself seems to be fairly rich in minerals. There's a heavy deposits of iron and adamantine.
So there's a good chance they just have that outpost. Still, they probably know destroy this for now. So,
All right, keeping your secrets. All right. So, bit more than a day later, you arrive in orbit. So, are you going to the moon or the planet itself? If you're going at all. Yes, you arrive in orbit. And yeah, you have by now, as you keep running the scanners, prospects, and the augurs, you have a decent idea of the topology. There is a couple of large, like oceans, on the planet, and there is the planet itself mostly consists of like rolling grasslands and forests and smaller lakes. And you see there is one spot on the planet where all the Vox traffic that you have picked up comes from, and that seems to be the only place. And then you see like villages spread out across the planet, but there is like one or two major cities, and only one where you actually pick up Vox traffic, even though it's very faint and sporadic. And the main city, by the looks of it, seems to be located on at one of the at a cliff, a fairly large cliff, by one of the oceans, and then there is a fairly expensive city built around that cliff. And if you need a visual for this, I suppose it would be like the Red Keep from Game of Thrones, like that kind of thing, with the castle itself being placed on top of the cliff, and then the city surrounding it, and the water behind it. So yeah, what do you all want to do then? Now that you have arrived to Griswold's front?
I want to go exploring and see if there's anything I can find that isn't hitting things.
Do you wanna go explore to find things that won't try to punch you in the face or shoot you?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So what do the rest of you want to do then?
And Chief Cutter wants to go down to the planet too. He's tired of being on the ship.
You think about hitting one of the larger cities and seeing what kind of. Or do you guys just want to go find a spot and see what happens?
I think searching for room would be good.
I'll fly the boat down to have it as backup.
All right. So yeah, I'm hearing one of the larger cities rather than a small remote village. All right. So do you take a detachment of ship crew with you, or do you just go by yourselves?
Chief Cutter's bringing 10 of his servitors along, 5 with heavy bolters, 5 with.
I'm going by myself. Unless someone plans on coming with me from like our main crew.
I'll go by myself for the time being.
Okay. So right now I'm asking more. As you're traveling down to the surface of the planet, I assume you all take going on maybe the same transport, or are you taking like individual cargo freighters down?
I imagine we'd be going down together. And then just
Yeah,
split up when we hit the surface.
yeah, exactly. I just wanted to clarify so I know for sure. All right. Yeah. So you
And
take.
Chief Cutter's bringing Zoggy with him too, because he doesn't trust him alone on the ship.
Oh, this is gonna be good for sure.
I'll bring my my goblin.
Okay. All right. So you all climb aboard the gun cutter, and you leave a Halo barge standby with some additional crew and equipment should it be needed. And yeah, you travel down through the atmosphere down to the surface of the planet. And yeah, as you break into the atmosphere, start traveling towards the main city, which is the closest from where you're anchored in orbit. You see as you're coming closer, for the first thing you notice that it is like fairly intense rainstorm currently going. That is just pouring down as you break through the cloud. And yeah, you see as you're flying down this massive, expansive city, probably stretching a good 20 miles in all directions. And with the keep, with the keep located on the cliff, and then granulated walls lining three walls lining the city, 3 tiers of walls lining the city and the keep itself, like the inner keep. Yeah, it seems just eyeballing it. There's probably a good few million people just living in the city alone. and you see a fair bit of smoke rising from one district of the city. So you can infer from that that that's probably where all the quote unquote heavy industry is located. And yeah, the rest of it, other than the city itself, it's pretty much just open grasslands for miles with dirt roads or cobblestone roads leading to and from the city. And then there is like forests on the horizon as you're flying towards the city. So do you want to try to land in the city, or are you landing outside the city?
I vote outskirts just 'cause I feel like landing in it would be a little bit more difficult as far as like it being super crowded. Not that I really care.
Yeah, we might as well go for outskirts.
Yeah, stay outside the city.
Right. Yeah. So you see a couple of places where it's a fairly large, maybe a couple of hundred by 100 meters, like cleared field. Doesn't seem to be any like farmland or anything like that. It just seems to be cleared, and it's a walled off. How would I describe it? Cornered off area, I suppose. Not walled off by the same like castle wall, like fortification walls or anything. Just like basically, so it's kind of like an arena, I suppose. That kind of structure that has, 100 square meters cleared for like flat land for something. And then obviously there is the grass at the outskirts of the city. You could land there, but that's the ground seems to be a bit more uneven when you sweep the augers across that. So there are some places you could land. So either on one of the grass fields near the city, or you can land in the arena.
Uh, basically, we need to make some sort of a piloting check to set down on the ground, right?
Not necessarily. I'm just giving you some ideas of where you can land. Like it's not difficult enough here to require a pilot skill test.
Okay. Well, we could, I suppose, land in the arena then, if we wanted to.
Yeah, you come down and then sit down gently on the floor of the arena. And yeah, as you come closer to it, you see it's essentially like like an arena. It has bleachers on all four sides. It's a square. All four sides have bleachers. There's a couple of pavilions, shelter for the rain and the sun, but it's currently empty. And there is two on each side, like in front of you and behind you, where the ship lands. You have two heavy portcullises, currently closed. Seems to be made of iron, possibly iron and reinforced iron. And yeah, as the engines power down, the ramp lowers, and all of you can walk out to rain and the atmosphere that is this new and strange world. And I think, yeah, as you're landing, Dolores, you and Swol both notice that on the Voxcaster you have, you're picking up some increased chatter. Seems to be like just a public uncrypted channel that they're using, and you kind of hear that there's something going on in the arena, and there's some back and forth, like suggesting what should be done, and there's the usual like confused chatter when something unexpected happens. And they can't really seem to figure out if they should go tell someone or just go check it out themselves.
That's all relay going. Hey, our arrival didn't go as unnoticed. Just keep your heads.
All right. So all of you have now been notified that there is potentially people aware of your presence here.
Alright, so I can't remember how the assist rules work, but if we're gonna ask around, I suppose we would have one person ask and then one person assist or something like that.
So if you want to assist with anything, as long as you have one check mark in it, you can just declare that you're assisting, and the person who does the actual rolling gets a +10 for that, up to a maximum of +20.
Okay. Well, I don't have any checks and inquiry, so, but I'll probably still tag along just in case for whoever does it.
All right, so right in this very moment, in case I didn't describe the situation properly, so you have landed in what is essentially an arena. The doors, the only way out on the ground floor itself is two large reinforced iron portcullises, which are currently closed. It's about 3 meters from the ground up to where the first tier of seats are. And it's currently raining and slightly chilly weather temperature.
Okay. Are we the only people in the arena?
As far as you can tell, you. But you are aware that people have noticed your arrival, and there is currently some confusion as to what to be done about it.
Okay. Is there anyone around here who might be like managing the landing area or anything like that?
Roll an awareness. See if you notice anything.
I do want to.
Everyone can.
+10, Lord Captain.
So, Dolores, if you're still in the cockpit, you can do a scrutiny with a +10 using the ship, the gun cutter's aspects.
Although, can I take the awareness one?
Sure, you can do the awareness if you.
Because I just noticed what I rolled on the awareness.
Yeah, awareness is fine too. That's an impressive roll there, Swardiga.
Yep, definitely.
All right. Yeah, so you see there is at least, yeah, you see two people like poking their heads out from behind one of the bleachers as you're like landing the ship in the arena. It seems to be, uh, let's say, old, uh, two older teenagers, one man and a woman, uh, in a various state of undress, hiding behind one of the bleachers, poking their head out.
Since I'm probably the least terrifying looking, can I try to approach them and ask them what's going on?
Are you wearing your power armor?
This time, no, because I'm not looking for trouble.
Okay. Yeah, so they're still like they're let's say like maybe 4 meters up on the bleachers, and you're standing on the arena floor. But yeah, you can approach them and get into like conversation range.
Okay, I'm gonna try that slowly.
Yeah, they seem a bit startled by the fact that this whole like flying machine just fell out of the sky and landed here, and now there are people climbing out of this machine. Some of them have weapons, and at least two of them are green. And there is also an eyeless person with a small goblinoid creature. So there is a lot to take in here all at once. So they're probably a bit overwhelmed, but yeah, you can slowly approach them. And I think the woman looks down at you and follows you with her eyes. Come closer while the man looks startled and awestruck by the flying machine.
I'm going to tell her that I mean no harm and ask her where we are and that we're travelers. Curious as to if we are causing havoc.
So both of them, as you start talking, both of them turn and look at you. Uh, and you see they have this blank face of confusion. Like they don't hide their emotions very well, and they are confused um, you're, by what you're saying.
Do they speak like low Gothic or no? Like, am I going to have to try another language to talk to them?
So you stand there for a moment after you say finish your sentence and wait for a response, and they look confused, and then they talk quietly to both of them, and you see the woman stand up and come out, and you see the man try to grab her by the wrist and stop her, but he just shrugs him off. And yeah, she has a shirt, a brown uh, leather shirt on, and one boot, but not much else. And she says something. It's probably like a string of 3 or 4 sentences. And I would like you to roll a low Gothic skill check for me, please.
I'm guessing I get a +10 for this. Oh god, I'm using a fate point for that.
Can we all roll or just her?
Yeah, I think everyone can roll. The engines have died down enough now that you can all hear the conversation.
You've got
Oh,
to figure
okay.
it out.
Of course the fucking Xeno gets it.
I think in an extremely heavy and thick accent, she says something that is essentially amounts to, "I don't recognize what you're saying, and I have never heard someone talk like that before. Where are you from? And how did you survive falling from the sky?" And now that you're talking and you don't seem immediately threatening, she comes a bit closer to like the edge, and takes a walks down the stairs uh, towards like where the railing is for to the arena floor, and the guy, the man stands up and like getting dressed, and he's holding like starts walking down the stairs as well as you're talking, and the rest of you, as Toothcutter comes into view and listens to this, they notice him, but they don't have a the visceral reaction that most Imperial citizens would have when they see an orc. So they are either really good at covering their surprise, or they don't actually know what an orc is. Like that's something you can infer from their lack of reaction to seeing Toothcutter.
Am I gonna have to try to roll again to talk to her, or am I gonna be decently like, I'm going to struggle, like this is gonna be a complete struggle bus, but I'll be able to make a point.
Toothcutter's going to point at the ship they just landed in. And he's going to basically explain to her that they didn't fall, they flew.
I don't know that they're gonna know what flying is.
They see bird. Well, if there's birds here, they're going to know what flying is.
I mean, do we know anything about the wildlife here?
That is it's an excellent question. And basically, you can talk without rolling a skill. They have to roll a low Gothic to try to comprehend what you're saying. Likewise, when they talk, it might be a low Gothic roll if you want to try to comprehend them. And there is obviously a point where no rolling will be necessary. It's just more the initial contact here to determine like if this is a hostile meeting, neutral, or a positive thing.
It's basically like trying to understand an orc, but in a different dialect.
Or a really drunken Danish person.
Yeah, that.
It's about as incomprehensible.
Great.
But yeah, you take some time and explain like you flew rather than fell, and they both look confused. Look at each other and look confused, and look up to the sky. They look more confused, but don't seem. And then they look back at the ship because of the shape and form and size. More importantly, of the gun cutter, might not be the easiest thing for them to figure out how, because aerodynamics is a Yeah, as Beatrice and Tuvkat is having this conversation with the startled couple, what are the rest of you doing?
Well, do we want to go and land somewhere else, or do we want to figure out a way out of this arena?
If they don't even know what flying is, maybe just convince them we're gods.
I'd rather not try to trick them straight off. I kind of want to figure out where we, like, I want to figure out why the fuck we're somewhere that they don't understand what the fuck ships are and they don't seem to be terrified by it, or like I want to figure out why this place is so fucking ass back.
It's
Well,
a feral or feudal world.
The backwater.
I mean, there are planets in the Imperium that are even lower tech than this. I mean, you've got planets in the Imperium that are still in the Stone Age.
Stormy,
Mm.
on page 309 in the core book, you have a small like description of what a feudal world is. If you
Thank you.
there's a list of all the other like the imperial classification on planets. I'm not sure
Appreciate it.
how well it will clarify things, but at least that's something.
Yeah. No, that'll definitely.
Well, in the meantime, I am going to just keep an eye on my surroundings until we make a decision as to whether we should break out of here or simply land somewhere else on the planet.
For a man with no eyes, that's a funny comment.
Yep.
What you could do, seeing as you're vigilant about your surrounding, is give me a senescence, please. All right. Yeah, as you're great roll. As you're
So
having,
medieval world, basically.
yeah. Kind of hard to explain the tech level stuff, but essentially the planet is medieval. Like, it's basically a medieval planet with bits and pieces of like modern tech, quote unquote. It's like that world on in Firefly when was that one dude flying around in like the hover wheelchair or whatever the hell he was flying around in, and everyone else was riding around on horses, and they defended the brothel from the gang.
Okay.
All right. So as you're having this conversation, and Tufkata goes into a lengthy and uncomfortably orcish explanation of how physics work and aerodynamics, all of you hear the sound of a horn in the distance. 3 long drawn out notes being played. And Swardiga, as far as you can tell, you're the only one within your perception distance of perception, area of perception, that have any connection whatsoever to the wolf. So Solris, do you stay in the cockpit, or do you leave the gun cutter with the rest of them?
Nah, I'll stay in the cockpit just in case we need to get out of here quick.
And Helmsman's will have once again brought his gear. So he's walking with his outer gun at a comfortable position, and he's currently shirtless, oiling up his muscles once again. And yeah, all of you here, the couple on the bleachers, they having a short conversation between them, and then asking questions, but it's hard to tell because of their accent what they're actually saying. So before the next thing happens, is there anything that you all want to do? Any preparations? Any conversations?
I withdraw my goblin and have him at the ready.
Chief
Excellent.
Good is going to ask him what the horn was, what the horn meant.
And I think they would think the response would be, so roll me a low Gothic, and I'll tell you regardless. I just want to know if you get the words right, the name right. Right, so they tell you those guards. Yeah, that's what you hear, like guards. They say something before that, but the word before guards doesn't translate well enough, or you don't pick up what they're saying. Beatrice,
Yeah.
I just saw your role. You know that what they're saying is that the Triumph Guard is coming, and yes,
Cool. I
okay,
am gonna let Dave kinda try and understand what the fuck they said if he wants to, and I'm gonna walk back a few steps and be like, and I'm gonna do it over Vox, just simply so that our pilot can hear, and I'm gonna be like, oh, so Triumph Guard something is on its way? I don't know what the hell are we, what?
We're in such a place to slaughter.
Oh, chime in, going. It's probably just the city guards. Don't.
Or probably the local PDF, whatever that might look like on a computer wall.
all right. So as the sound intensifies, you hear, all of you hear in the distance, the heavy footfall of something. By the sounds of it, it's a lot of something that has a lot of weight to it, coming closer at a steady pace. And both the couple on the bleachers, they give you all a somewhat startled look, and then they start, trying to crawl back behind the bleachers and hide, unless you try to stop them in any way.
I'm going to try to reach out to them and ask them what's going on and why they're so.
Chief Cut is going to run over to the portcullis and look.
All right, Beatrice. First of all, they basically say that Triumph Guard, they both of them basically repeat the Triumph guards are coming. And Toothcutter, so do you have your bike out, or is it still in the gun cutter?
Right now, it's probably still in the gun.
All right. Yeah, you walk up to the gun portcullis, and you look through, and as you on the other side of it, like down, you see down the road, maybe like 50 meters away, you see a detachment of maybe 20 heavily armed soldiers riding in formation on armored war horses. Two side by side, and there's a long line of them, 20 total, so 10 on each side, riding towards you. They're all wearing power armor, or like older marks of power armor. On the left arm, they have a storm shield attached, and on the right, and in the right hand, or on the right hip, they have, you see the familiar shape as they turn. You see the familiar shape of power axes.
Tuvka is going to turn back to the others and say, "We got some fighty boys coming, and they got some flashy choppers,
Or
and they're wearing armor like yours." And he points at Beatrice.
now I wish I'd worn my armor. God damn it.
So, question about which way the gun cutter's actually facing. Is it actually, if it's not facing towards the portcullis yet, can I?
So the way I'm kind of imagining this is that as you landed, you angled it in a way that the cockpit would be towards the city, because that's the gun cutter has forward-facing weapons. So I was kind of thinking that if there was something coming from the city, you'd greet them guns first, rather than cargo bay first.
Yep, that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Is I want as many guns facing towards that portcullis in case things go.
Yeah, so you land, you set down the gun cutter with weapons facing the portcullis there. Stove cutter is currently looking through.
So I'll look over and tell the helmsman to make sure the safeties are ready to be flipped off if they need them.
Yeah, he flexes you a salute and starts flipping the switches. And his super ripped body glistening in the looming globe light of the interior.
Tuvka runs back to the gun cutter, runs inside. Gun cutter, and he's looks like he's ready to meet a charge. He's sitting on his bike, revving it, and got a chopper in his hand.
I feel like running back and grabbing my armor is not an option. So I'm just going to fall back and I guess try to stand behind everyone else that's all body armor.
Or at least stand behind the autocannons on the gun cutter. So you're
Yeah,
not in the line, direct in the line of fire.
that would, yeah. So just hide and go seek it.
All right. So I suppose the important question here is, where is Billy and all that? Because he's the representative for his dynasty, and you have all currently arrived at a new planet with unfamiliar customs.
So where are the weapons located on the gun cutter?
So it would be like at like to the side of where the cockpit window is, and then
Okay, so-
underneath the wings.
Okay, so if I stand on top of the gun cutter, I'll be fine.
Yes, you
I'm
can
gonna
just
climb on
pop the
top of
top
the
patch and climb out. Yeah, stand on top of it.
I like the idea.
Swariga, where are you at?
I think I will be next to the Lord Trader.
Alright, so the eyeless man wearing a robe is standing on top of the gun cutter as well. And yeah, you hear the horn blow once more, a single note, and you see in front of you, all of you who has vision outside in front of the gun cutter, you see the heavy portcullis rise up, and the procession of riders ride through and then form to basically a half circle around it, and they all stand in formation. All of you see they have their axes drawn but unpowered at the moment, and there is a person in black power armor and golden trim, has ornate golden scroll work across it, but the base of the armor is black. It has a crimson plume on his helmet, and he looks up at the two of you standing on top of the gun cutter, and you all of you hear the crackling of the speaker from his helmet as he proclaims something that sounds very fancy. And I would like the both of you to roll a common, sorry, low Gothic.
Both of who? Sorry.
All of you, if you want. But the person in the ornate armor is addressing the two on top of the gun cutter.
I hope everyone else added that +10.
He added +2.
Shit, the astropath is dabbing in the background. This can only go well. Alright, so Billy and Solris, both of you hear the man in or as opposed to voice in the ornate power armor. You can't really tell the voxhaler installed in the helmet robs it of all human emotion, so it's just a synthesized voice, so it's possible to tell who it is behind it. But yeah, you hear the voice say, "We bring greetings from His Royal Majesty King Griswold. We ask you state your business here and why you have traveled to our world."
Decided to take a little vacation. Decided to stop here.
Explain this vacation. You hear the voice respond again.
Relax. Not work. Enjoy ourselves.
And yeah, this suit, so the ornate suit looks to the soldiers. The one closest to them looks back, looks up at you again. No response. You hear the voice again. The king wishes to meet travelers from the far stars. We are here to escort you to the castle.
Would it be rude to just get in the ship and fly to the castle and say fuck these guys?
That would be incredibly rude.
Yeah, like let's
How
not.
rude do we want to be?
But why
No,
not?
because
Fucking-
I don't want to find out just how advanced these people are, like getting hit with whatever the fuck they have. Like
fucking broke boys can't even fly. What do we have to worry about?
again, if we're gonna figure out just how advanced the civilization is, I don't want to find out when I get hit with it in the face
I mean,
while I have no armor on.
I was gonna say, maybe someone should have brought their armor.
And I
was
wasn't
gonna say,
thinking I
now
was gonna
whose
get
fault
blasted
is
to the face. Oh my god, I only hear shit from
Fortune favors the prepared.
all y'all can set my big toe.
Well, if you're into that.
Bitch. Better be into it when it gets halfway down your goddamn throat.
Well, I don't know if there is a specific role. I suppose it would be like Common Law Imperium, maybe. I don't think there is etiquette or anything like that.
I got Imperial Navy with that?
I mean, only if you go to the ocean or to the harbor district. You might have like a ship of the line parked there somewhere you can command.
Avast!
I've got common law of war.
I got that too, but I don't think that'll.
Yeah, there is strangely enough no real skill for dealing with primitive civilization. But yeah, no, just common decency dictates that if you just take off and fly over there, chances are they would be pretty pissed. Now that they have gone to the trouble of assigning an escort to you.
Chief Cutter looks up at Billy and says that he thinks we should go see the boss.
You want me to stay with the gun cutter?
Yeah.
I guess I'll come with. I don't want to get blasted in the face.
I mean, being on the ship would be pretty safe.
This is fair, but you guys are probably gonna die. Yeah, no, never mind. I'm going back on the ship. Fuck it. Y'all have.
Alright, so are you staying at with the gun cutter or are you going back up to orbit again?
I'm getting back on the gun cutter and getting my. Because I'm going to have. I think I would have forethought enough to have left my armor on the gun cutter. So I'm just gonna go back on the gun cutter and put my armor back on. In case
That-
everything gets super stupid fighty and we have to go fly somewhere later.
That makes perfect sense to me.
I mean, no one has a flamer, so we're already off to a good start.
Yes, this is very true. I like
I mean, I'm sure someone has flint and tinder somewhere.
that. The fuck up.
Alright. So yeah, Beatrice hangs out on the gun cutter and the rest of you tag along. Or do you tag along as well as all the rest, or do you stay?
Oh, I'm staying on the gun cutter just in cases,
Alright. Yeah, so the heavy war horses gets a bit spooked when Tooth Cutter rolls out with his war bike. But they are trained enough that they don't start bucking and throwing off the riders. And yeah, in maybe a few moments, you find yourself in the middle of a fairly impressive military escort. And yeah, like I said before, now that you have all seen them up close, they wear power armor, all on all the makes than what you are normally what you would normally see in on Imperial worlds. They're wearing a storm shield, all of them wearing storm shield, and they're wearing a power axe on their hip as well. Or sorry, they have a power axe in their hand, but it's currently unpowered. That's what they all have as they escort you through the city. And it's probably like a good 20 minutes or so, and from where you currently are to the keep itself. And yeah, as you proceed through the streets, like first you take the cobblestone road into the city through the first wall, and there's this heavy portcullis. Basically, imagine a medieval city, and you ain't far off. And yeah, you pass through the first wall, and there is essentially the poor district. So it's like shanties and huts and such. The roads are still cobblestone, the main road at least, and then the like roads that springs off to all the houses and pubs and all that are dirt. And yeah, like everyone in the city stops what they're doing as you like come in view distance and just look at you, and there's just silence, and after you can hear a pin drop as you are escorted through the town. And as you come through the second wall, it comes into the essentially common district where the middle class lives. Uh, Obviously, the architecture here is, of course, you can tell it's a bit of a mix. It has the Gothic arches and the Gothic trappings, but it's not as intense as it is on most other planets or imperial planets that you've been to. And you see, you pass through a market area, and again, like everything, the moment you come into view and they see the Triumph guards, like everything just stops dead in its track, and everyone's looking at you. You pass through, and the buildings here are mainly wood with stone foundation. And as you pass through the third gate, the third wall, they're all stone buildings. Most are like finely polished or finely cut stone, cobblestone, but there are also you see a couple of places that has marble, both white and green marble. And then you pass through the inner wall, through that district, the inner wall where the keep is, over this long drawbridge, probably like a good 20-meter drop below the bridge. Yeah, as you approach the castle, and there is this imposing large castle, probably like a good 100 meters up in the air from the ground level up to the top spire. It has the large crenellated walls surrounding it. The keep in the middle is an imposing. Well, it looks more like a what you would normally associate with a cathedral for the ecclesiarchy. That kind of style to the keep, and dominating the view. And then it has four in each four corners of the wall. You have these massive guard towers, And there is a few buildings here inside the inner keep, and they are all marble. And this place, streets are clean. Everyone's wearing fine steel clothing. Like this is the noble area. This is where, and most of you look way out of place here, dressed the way you are compared to like the colorful and fanciful, ostentatious clothing that the nobles have here. But you are met with the same stunned silence as you pass through into the keep itself. And there's this large vaulted door, double door that opens for you. So, are you during this entire trip, takes maybe 20 to 30 minutes? Are you reacting at all, or are you just silently going along?
I'm keeping an eye out for anything that looks interesting, or, I've been on feudal worlds in the past, and so I'm just keeping an eye out for anything that looks out of place or like something that I wouldn't expect to see here.
Okay. Yeah, you see all of the guards. Yeah, all of the guards that manning the inner walls, they all wear power armor. The guards that escorting you seems to be wearing a heavier version, but they all wear some type of power armor, all the guards here in the inner keep. Most of them, like the ones that are escorting you right now, wear power shields, and the other ones, they're just standing in the courtyard. They have what is essentially tower shields, or I don't know, Arbite riot shields, like the equivalent to that.
Yeah, but it looks like a local, like maybe a Lord's retainer, probably. It doesn't look like they are a super common item, I assume.
No, this is essentially the highest tech thing you have seen on this planet so far. And you could maybe like infer that it's either because you are all like outsiders wearing crazy clothing that came from, fireball from the sky, or or everyone's staring in awe because they are finally, for the first time in their life, they're seeing the Triumph guards wearing full power armor. So it's by the looks of it, it's definitely a rare sight. But yeah, can you roll me a Chinesians again? See if you notice anything. Yeah, so there is definitely, like, within your perception at any time during this entire thing, there is at least 3 other people who has a connection to the warp. One is in the immediate. Yeah, it would be one within the immediate following, and then there is, essentially like every 50 or so meters you encounter someone else that has some connection to the Immaterium. So it seems to be a higher than average concentration of psychers on this planet, or at least in this city that you are right now.
Okay, so I'll let the other members of the party know by, I'll just say in a sort of hushed tone as we're walking, there's an unusual number of psychers that exist around here. It may be that they're in proximity to some breach in the warp over, a long period of time. any other number
For
of
you
things.
humans, y'all can probably just talk in High Gothic. I won't understand.
Yeah, do all of you guys know High Gothic?
Nope.
I-
Yep, at any rate. I suppose we should watch our bet here. We have no idea exactly what we'll be up against.
And Tooth Cutter will just be riding along on his growling iron horse and eyeing all the flashy weapons around him.
All right. All right. As this procession goes on, Dolores, Beatrice, are you doing anything in the gun cutter or just hang?
After I get my armor on, I think I'm just going to try and prepare my weapons, I guess. Clean them.
Oh, I'm just kicked back in the pilot seat reading a.
And yeah, and the helmsman.
Tooth Cutter left his servitors at the gun cutter. He didn't.
All right, so you have 10 combat saboteurs just standing at attention, currently deactivated in the cargo hold as well.
Okay.
Yeah, the procession reaches the keep, and there is, like I said, it's the style of the building you would normally associate with a temple or to the ecclesiarchy. It has that kind of gothic aesthetics to it. The high arched bronze double door and marble stones. And yeah, the guards standing at attention by the door open it for you as the procession comes. And yeah, it's still raining outside, both in the city and outside where the gun cutter is. And yeah, you are all escorted into the keep itself. And yeah, inside the double doors, there is this long marble floor hallway, and all the soldiers that are escorting you, Triumph Guard, they dismount and have their horses led away by stable hands, while they form up in formation, walking in a loose V formation with you in the middle. And yeah, I think as you're marching down this, or march down this hallway, with the torchlight, candlelight rather, lining sconces placed equal spacing around pillars and the walls themselves, casting that warm, inviting light of tallow candles. It's hard to tell. There's a faint echo as you walk through the vaulted ceilings in the hall. Probably like a good 50 meters or so before there is another, or there's a staircase down that leads to a set of double doors again, and the guards inside are wearing the same ornate power armor as the figure that spoke to you and declared the invitation to meet the king. As that same kind of ornate scripture, golden trim on the armor, on the black armor. And yeah, so Dolores, you see, as you're sitting in the cockpit reading the book or data slate, you glance up, and as movement catches your eye, and you see the teenagers come forth from behind the bleachers again where they were hiding, and they start looking confused at each other as the gun cutter, and they try to peer over the backside, see if the guards are gone, and then they slowly make their way down towards the gun cutter, very carefully and gingerly, not to spook it.
I'll talk over the Vox and ask them if they want to come in and take.
You should have pretended like the ship was alive. The ship was talking to him.
Yeah, that
Well,
was
I
good.
didn't actually. I didn't say anything other than, hey, you want to come in? And whether or not they take that as something completely different, it's not my fault.
And there is a visceral reaction to it. Like they both startle immensely as the loud hailer turns on, and they hear what you said at a fairly loud volume still, because of the proximity, if nothing else. But they resist the immediate urge to run away, and they just look a bit confused, and they look up, trying to see you through the reflective surface of the glass.
Is there only like the cargo hatch door, or is there like a small door by the?
I'd say it's probably like a side hatch as well, so you can gain entry that way.
All right, so I'll, direct the helmsman to keep an eye out on things. I'm gonna pop the hatch open on the side and poke my head out and.
All right. Yeah, they look at you again, a bit startled. See someone just open a hatch and wave them over. But they slowly come up and they inspect everything. They can see like the weapons, the wings, the structure itself. And yeah, if you let them, they climb aboard.
Yeah, I'll let them. I'll keep a close eye on them, make sure they don't start messing with shit they're not supposed to. But yeah, I'll let them come in.
All right. Yeah. Now, as you this close to them, you see both of them like I want to say 17 or 18, like fairly muscular builds, probably from a life of work in the fields or some other like actual hard labor. They both have a belt pouch on the left side, and they have a sheath with like a small utility knife on the right. And it's kind of like the blade itself would be like the size of your palm, the palm of your hand. So it's again utility, not combat.
Okay.
And yeah, they're whispering quietly to each other. And you're close enough so you can hear this without problem. But it's essentially just oh hey, look at this crazy thing over there, and what's that? And I have never seen something like that. It's that kind of like just awe-inspired whispering.
Okay, so is there anything you actually want to know, or you just?
I think they take a hot moment to try to comprehend what you're saying, and I think the man says, "I've never, in my wildest dream, believed that this was possible. I have never seen anything like this. We have never seen anything like this before." And the woman says, yeah, she says, "I think this reminds me of that cave at Emon's Field."
There's lots of things that are more common than this amongst the.
I mean, that sounds to me like it's a cave full of tech.
Or maybe a crashed ship.
Oh, I'm getting to that. I'm getting. So I'll ask him, more about, the cave and, if they could kind of describe what they've seen.
Yeah, so as you ask, the woman goes quiet for a bit unsure, both because of the heavy accent that they have and your completely foreign accent to them. But she processes it for a moment and she says, 3 days walk to the south by the river. There is a hole in one of the fields near the forest, in a forest clearing. My brother fell down and we found something that looks like this metal box.
Okay, and, I'll basically ask them if they want anything to eat or.
And I think as you ask that, the man's stomach starts growling a bit, and he looks super embarrassed by it.
I think I'm going to be standing nearby and I'll just kind of like show up and ask them what they'd like to eat or what's the like last thing or like tell them to like just imagine something they'd want to eat and just name. I'm pretty sure we have like more than enough on the ship as far as like options and weird things.
Watch, they have a peanut allergy. They die on the ship.
We turn them into servitors and then just send them back and hope they don't notice.
All right. Yeah. So as you come out, and the first, so Solris, you hear the familiar growling of servos as Beatrice approaches. Both of them, but you see both of them like immediately turn and has again very very strong reaction to the terrifying sight of someone in full ornate power armor. And their immediate, first, second, and third immediate reaction is to bolt for the door and run away.
Yeet. I'm going to walk up to them and tell them that they talked to me earlier and not to worry. The armor is just for if someone comes to mess with them while they're eating.
Right.
I'd help if you take your helmet off so they could actually.
Yeah. I'm going to take the helmet off first.
I was just gonna ask, did you have the helmet on as you
No.
approached, or did you?
I wasn't planning on having the helmet on while I was on the ship anyways, because like I wouldn't see the point of having a helmet on while I was on the ship, so that's my bad.
Maybe you didn't enjoy the intense smell of lavender body oil as Helmsman Swool was lubing himself
No,
up.
fuck that. Lavender gives me headaches. No.
Okay, so helmet on, noted.
So yeah, taking helmet off and then talking to small children. And hopefully they recognize my face.
Yeah, so they They definitely take a couple of steps back as you approach, and then you take off the helmet, and they calm down a bit because they recognize your face again. And yeah, um, they they ask for just food in general. Like they don't really seem to have a concept of what the different kinds of food. It's just something to eat.
I'm going to tell them okay and walk away and see if I can find something like meat and potato-ish just to give them something that'll actually last them. And then maybe a few loaves of bread or something for them to take with them.
Okay, so you have ship ration on the boat. So it's dried, like dried jerky, some like protein bars or something. That's it. Don't really have a loaf of bread sitting around.
And basically, probably the best we have is like an MR.
Okay, yeah, I can think MRIs. Okay, cool. Then yeah, I'm probably gonna take like 3 or 4 of them and just be like, here, because we're not gonna need them necessarily.
Um,
And these people haven't eaten in who knows how long, and I feel bad for children.
and they happily accept it and sit down on whatever sittable surface, start happily chewing away on it. And both of them are like casually looking at all the intricacies of your power armor because it's an extremely rare sight.
When it's not being terrible.
And I think they they small talk while they're eating, um, talking about probably nothing in particular, just making conversation. Um, and at some point, Helmsman Wall walks out into the cargo hold, and yeah, both of them just look at him like awestruck because he's a fairly ripped dude. Like, think, how did I describe him before? Basically, think Arnold Schwarzenegger when he was doing the bodybuilder, when he was doing that full time. Basically, that, but more muscular, and then fully covered, like triple coated in body oil. So he's glistening all the time.
I kind of want to tell him to go away because he still smells like lavender, and now I don't have the helmet to protect me from the fucking smell.
All right. Yes, he, as you say that, probably a bit more politely, he flexes you a salute and leaves the gun cutter.
I kind of want to like walk away and see if I can find anything near, like, kind of like see if I can get any readings on the terrain around us. 'Cause if it's a 3 days walk, I'm sure that it's like no time at all flying, and I kind of want to see if I can find the caves that they're talking about.
So in the cockpit, you would have like there would be like flight assist coadjutors built into the console. So with some help from Solris, you could just do a cursory scan of the topology of the like immediate area and like further out, and you can also like get now what's the word in English, map details from the orbital scans. The ship can transmit down if there is a specific area you want scanned.
Dolores, help me do the scanny thing, please.
Alright, so a scrutiny.
Yeah, just +0 Scrooge. Actually, +10.
Let me read.
Yeah, no, he do the scanny thing. He does the pokey button.
Yeah, you tickle the coadjutators properly, and they reveal their secrets to you.
Yeah,
So yeah,
sorry.
it would be for all of you. It would be maybe like a 2-hour flight from where you currently are. There is the forest clearing next to, close to the river, roughly where they mentioned it. So yeah, like 2 or 3 hours flight, and that's if you go like cruising speed instead of just redline the engines.
Alright, so I'll shoot a message up to the ship to see if I could get some better imagery of that.
Yeah, I think maybe 20 minutes or so later, you get a high definition image of that area with detailed notes about essentially everything you could ever want to know about the terrain. You even get like the different organic components in the topsoil as well.
Okay, so is there anything special I notice about it, or just overgrown holes?
Essentially, overgrown hole. The clearing itself is not large enough that you could land something on top of it or land something there. But it's definitely like large enough to I don't know how to describe it, but it's too small to land the shuttle there, but it's large enough that you don't have to feel crowded when you're hanging out over it. You don't see a hole in the ground, but there's definitely like there's definitely a hollow cavity there somewhere in that area, suggesting that there is something underneath.
Okay, so I'll annotate it and wait until the captain gets back from his bullshittery.
All right.
And then just for giggles, I'll bring them each out a amasec and have them have it something to drink.
Yeet.
They are technically of legal drinking age.
Depends on the country.
It's a feudal world. The likelihood of them living past 30 is extremely low.
I was just gonna say the legal drinking age on this planet is like 12. Okay, so both of them like slowly drink it, and they seem unaffected by it. But there's definitely like a couple of raw throats and definitely some coughing, but they don't seem to be like smashed out of their minds.
Can I just shake my head at the fact that he's getting the poor children?
Yes.
Well, I mean, in all likelihood, they've had alcohol before, probably wine and some.
Yeah, I'm just laughing at the fact that he's giving them, I'm guessing, decently good quality shit, because it's our shit, so I'm just gonna chuckle at the fact that he's getting the kids drunk. Like, it's not even like a true, like, wow, just like a chuckle and just walk away. Make sure shit's going right. I might come back later to make sure that none of them die. At least I fed them beforehand.
Are we dead yet?
Not yet.
Almost. All right. So, what do you all think about ending it here for tonight? Because we're like quarter over normal time, and I know some people need to get up in the morning, and then we can continue next week.
Yeah, I'm fine.
And it gives me some time to flesh out the encounter with the king.
Works for me.
So, before you all run